Okay.
Five Nights at Freddy's is a game series which has a deeper, well-hidden story about a man, his family, and the people he involved in his life. In this video, I present to you my take on that very story. Don't forget to quickly scroll down, subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video, scroll back up, and please enjoy the combination of what I put my heart, soul, and time into for the past few months. William Afton, married, a father of 3 children, Elizabeth, Evan, and Michael, began a business with his good friend Henry Emily, married, a father of 2, Charlotte and Sammy. Their business name was decided to be Fazbear Entertainment, and together they opened up a small restaurant called Fredbear's Family Diner, a regular diner filled with dining and party rooms. The diner's main purpose was for children's birthday parties, as they knew that's the way to profit. It might as well have been a pizzeria though, as their menu was mostly filled with a variety of pizzas and cakes for all customers to enjoy. But, unlike any other restaurant, this was run by 2 mechanical geniuses, probably the smartest in the world, who together agreed on an idea so genius it would have to convince more kids and adults to have their birthdays and to dine generally at this location. An idea that would drive their revenue through the roof, and unknowingly to them, an idea that would shape the future of both their lives forever. The idea was put into motion almost instantly. Their creative minds wouldn't allow for hesitation. It was time. They were ready for business and destined for success. William and Henry created 2 spring-lock suits that they could wear and serve customers in, but the suits could also pass as animatronics to perform for the customers on a stage. These 2 spring-lock suits would...
You see, you get in those. Nah. Can't do that. You're gonna be cute instantly. If you've seen FNAF animations,
ended up becoming the main attraction of the diner, and the 2 suits would don the names Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. Business was booming. The 2 were receiving money from all directions. Parents loved the place. They could just chill back and eat some pizza while their children ran around and admired the animatronics. Children flocked to the diner daily to see the Springlock animatronics. If someone wanted a birthday party, this would be where they went. Due to the success of Fredbear's, a sister location opened up called Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, with Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy as the main stars. These 4 became really popular really quickly, so they ended up selling masks and merch to increase their revenue. But business doesn't change a man's mentality. William Afton may have been married, a father of 3 children, and thanks to Fredbear's, a wealthy man. But however his life was, he wasn't a good man. Abusive, destructive, and cruel.
Why?
The one reason he is where he is today is because he's smart and a strategist. The money did nothing but grow his toxic and dangerous personality. He looked to Spring Bonnie, and then out to his pizzeria he helped create. And upon scanning the crowds, he put on the Springlock animatronic suit with a stable plan for an unstable man. Tonight, 5 children would have a birthday party they would never forget and never let go.
Okay. Wait. What do you mean?
5 children were having a grand time at a birthday party in the pizzeria until randomly the yellow Spring Bonnie came over to them, and after playing with their minds and cropping their thoughts, the Springlock animatronic successfully lured them into the back room of the pizzeria. Unknowingly to these children, their party would end prematurely, as upon being alone with the 5 children, William pulled something from behind his back. The children were ready for a surprise he told them he had, the surprise they wanted, and the surprise they got.
They died.
The knife William pulled out from behind his back went through the children's bodies. He went on a murdering spree, murdering all of them in a short amount of time. William knew exactly what he had done. The psycho gained satisfaction from this event, from the torment he had just given. But the cops would arrive soon. Their parents would notice their children missing. He had to do something to cover his tracks. But how? While thinking of options, he set at Fredbear and the 4 main animatronic suits him and Henry created with endoskeletons to be fully automatic, as manually wearing the suits and serving customers was becoming too much, as they had to cook, take calls, requests, and it was all getting too much for the 2 of them. So that's why they made the endoskeletons in the first place. The animatronics looked like animals, with a brown bear, blue bunny, yellow chicken, and red fox. But to William's luck, the suits were open and empty. William grinned, knowing exactly where he would hide the evidence of this murderous event, which causes Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria to close down. Police stormed the building after several calls, not knowing their children's whereabouts, and the staff having no clue either.
Bro, this
Police were
man just
scavenging,
fell
searching
out.
all around the building, in all the rooms of the diner, asking everyone what they knew, trying to piece together anything they could, until they couldn't find the children's bodies anywhere, and they quickly found out no one knew anything. The children, who were just having the best party of their lives, vanished out of thin air from the diner. William became a major suspect, but without any bodies nor proof, they couldn't charge him. This quickly became a missing children's incident. Satisfaction, exhilaration. That's what William felt after the murder spree and getting away with it. His mind ran wild with ideas. What if he made suits specifically to contain people inside of them? Not springlock suits like him and Henry used. The animatronic suits, but with enough space to fit humans into them. They couldn't contain adults because they might be too tall, too big. There would be way too much individuality between adults. But children, most of them would be the same height, same size. A little bit bigger wouldn't be too much of a problem since they would still be rather small. William already killed 5 children and knew exactly how to lure them out, so he knew where to go next. With the goal of capturing children in mind, he made a new animatronic, Circus Baby, a blue-eyed, red-hair clown animatronic with an inbuilt scooper to grab, pull, and then trap children inside of itself. William adds that
she can dance, she can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
With the perfect creation and a long talk with Henry, William opened up a small restaurant on the side under his personal business name, Afton Robotics, which would sell the same food and drink as Fredbear's, but with the addition of ice cream. And with this, Circus Baby's Pizza World opens. William programmed Circus Baby so she would not kill or trap in front of crowds, nor with adults, but only in a one-on-one situation with a child. And William knew that the animatronic had to contain some sort of artificial consciousness. So how would he get that? William's wife and children would occasionally visit the 2 locations, admiring William and Henry's work. Animatronics were unique, creative, and unheard of in this day of age. Evan liked to watch William work on the animatronics and would regularly watch William work on the 4 animal suits, which Evan actually got early access to plush copies of. Elizabeth Afton, though, she desperately wanted to see Circus Baby every time she visited. It looked like her, and it was the first girly animatronic that had been ever made, with the others being Fredbear and Spring Bunny, which were still working at Fredbear's family diner. William always said no to Elizabeth. He knew deep down that Circus Baby would recognize his daughter as a child and would quite possibly kill her. Elizabeth kept asking,
Daddy, why won't you let me play with her? Daddy, you let the other children go see her. Why won't you let me go? Daddy, just once let me go play with her. She's so pretty and shiny. Didn't you make her just for me?
Wait.
Daddy, she can make balloons.
Hold up. If he made her just for you, why didn't he bring it there sometimes? Oh, just realized that it kills people.
Have you seen her make balloons?
Yes.
Oh, Daddy, let me go to her.
no was always the answer. William took no risk. His own daughter dying to his creation was not an option on the table. So he always took Elizabeth away from the animatronic and distanced her from the clutches of Circus Baby. But one night, while William was busy with a party of people coming into the restaurant, Elizabeth snuck away from William and went to finally see Circus Baby. Stubbornness, ignorance, and arrogance. 3 words which would perfectly describe Elizabeth's actions as she headed towards the animatronic. Circus Baby watched this little girl run with excitement and started to dispense ice cream, a luring tactic, something she had never done before.
Daddy isn't watching. Don't tell Daddy that I'm here. I wanted to watch your show too. I don't know why he won't let me come see you. You're wonderful. Where did the other children go?
Elizabeth's final question, a moment of realization. Elizabeth died as a direct result of William's actions. She was inside Circus Baby's suit, her screams covered by the children running back into the room with excitement. William came with his party of children and wondered where his own went. He looked around and remembered Elizabeth's words.
Daddy, let me go to her. Didn't you make her just for me?
He then looked to Circus Baby, who coldly stared back. This was a giant mistake. William couldn't comprehend this. This wasn't meant to happen. She should have listened. No, he should have made it happen. No, she shouldn't have been so stubborn. No, yes, no. William couldn't put together a single coherent thought in his mind. A psycho losing a loved one is not going to go well. He shut the restaurant instantly, and for a whole night he looked into Circus Baby's lit green eyes. If anyone can retell this story and these events the best, it's Circus Baby herself.
I was in a small room with balloons and a few tables. No one sat at the tables, though, but children would run in and out. I would always count the children. I'm not sure why. I was always acutely aware of how many there were in the room with me. I can do something special. Did you know that? I can make ice cream. Although I only did it once. There were 4, then 3, then 2. Then other children couldn't move.
Hold on, rewind.
Something happened when there was 1. Though I only did it once. There were 4, then 3, then 2, then 1.
Yo,
Something happened when there was
that's
1.
animation.
A little girl standing by herself. I was no longer myself, and I stopped singing.
Yo.
My stomach opened, and there was ice cream. I couldn't move, at least, not until she stepped closer. There was screaming for a moment, but only for a moment. Then other children rushed in again, but they couldn't hear her over the sounds of their own excitement. I still hear her sometimes. Why did that happen?
William. William was why that happened. All William could think of was his darling daughter, now lost to his own creation. Immediately, he tells Evan and Michael to no longer visit any animatronics that are offline or on, especially not alone. There was no chance he would let another child of his be lost to any one of his creations. William knew Michael was old enough that the animatronics wouldn't kill him, although he still warned him away. But William must have raised his children wrong, as Evan becomes stubborn and decides to go to Fredbear's family diner either way, obviously without his father's permission. But unknowingly to Evan, William knew about this. He's the co-owner of the restaurant Evan was sneaking off to. Of course he would know. So knowing that stubbornness, ignorance...
Hold on. He can literally get on cameras. Get on
and arrogance caused Elizabeth's death, and seeing Evan follow in her footsteps, William crafted a plan that would hopefully stop Evan from visiting the restaurant for good. One midnight, Evan awoke to the sound of someone walking down his bedroom halls. Evan hopped out of bed and ran towards his door, opening it slightly, and he saw a nightmarish version of the animatronics he watched William build. Evan slammed the door shut, and after hearing more footsteps, he reopened the door and the animatronic was gone. But then he heard rattling coming from his bed. William monitored Evan in an underground location he was yet to open to the public or anyone. He made sound illusion discs, which employ a high-pitched frequency just outside of the normal range of a human hearing. This frequency is used to overload the human brain, changing the listener's perception of whatever the emitter wants them to see. He used this to create illusions of animatronics that he knew Evan had seen, to make sure Evan never went back to Fredbear's. William knew Evan would think these were nightmares that he could strangely remember, but William made sure all of it actually happens to Evan when he's awake, so he remembers them more quickly to keep the fear level raised. He would make sure the illusions disappear at 6 a.m. each night, a time which Evan would begin to treasure. During the day, Evan would go to Fredbear's slightly more scared each time. William's plan was working. Michael, Evan's older brother, unknowingly to himself, was actually helping William during all of this, continuously scaring Evan with a foxy mask.
I get that.
William saw this as an okay thing to do and allowed this to happen during the daytime, as it would help Evan be more afraid to go back to Fredbear's. William encouraged Michael to do this, and he would be monitoring what Michael does through the eyes of a plush Fredbear. But Michael didn't do it for the same reasons as William. He did it because he was a bad brother. Michael organized Evan's birthday party to be at Fredbear's, and he told all the kids in town about it. After Evan talks to the kids, he goes inside his house to find William and
Wait,
talk to
was
him
that
about it.
Balloon
But
Boy?
Michael gets him first and scares him again.
Hold up.
Fredbear's, and he told all the kids in town about it. After Evan talks to the kids, he goes
there. Is this Balloon Boy? He got a balloon. He got blue eyes. And his stomach a little big.
inside his house to find William and talk to him about it. But Michael gets him first and scares him again with the Foxy mask.
Yo!
Michael knew that he could get Evan inside the diner if he really wanted to, by just being himself, the bad brother. Michael would have to bully Evan inside the diner for his party. So he gave it a try the next day to make sure he could. And by the end of it, he ended up locking Evan inside the back room of the diner for a few minutes. After letting Evan out to run and cry back home, Michael knew what had to happen the next day for his party. Evan would be more scared than ever to go back after today, and maybe not even Michael could bully him into the diner. So Michael thought for a long time and planned his next moves as the night fell. Michael brought 3 friends along. If Michael himself couldn't bully Evan to the diner, maybe 3 more bullies just like him could. They did exactly that. They forced Evan into the diner for his party. Evan pleaded to them all, saying he wants to leave, but Michael only suggested Evan got closer to the 2 Springlock suits. He knew getting Evan face to face with the animatronic would scare Evan the most, so they all picked Evan up from the ground and carried him. Evan was shaking like crazy, pleading to them all that he didn't want to go. He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to meet them. But they kept walking closer and closer to Fredbear and Spring Bonnie until they were right in front of their stage. Michael suggested Evan wants to kiss Fredbear, so the 4 of them moved Evan off of their arms and they forced his head and half his body to be inside of Fredbear's mouth. For Michael, this was the best he could do to scare Evan, have him right inside the thing he feared the most. Evan was crying and shaking like he never had before, and Michael even felt some form of sympathy for him. And they watched it happen right in front of them, and they laughed. One thing that no one knew besides William and Henry about the Springlock suits, which Evan was now trapped inside the mouth of, were that Springlock failures could occur. These would happen when the locks that are holding the endoskeleton in the folded position to allow a human to be in the suit break. This causes the endoskeleton to spring into its usual position, and anyone caught inside the suit when this happens will be impaled and crushed by the parts.
Wow.
There are 2 known reasons Springlock failures can occur. One of these is when the Springlocks interact with water and moisture. For this reason, employees must not wear the suit in rooms with too much moisture in the air. The second way these accidents can occur is when an employee fails to correctly wind the Springlocks all the way up, causing them to burst on the person inside. William Henry knew about these, and always made sure to handle them correctly to avoid any fatal injuries to other staff and themselves. Evan's rivers of tears poured onto Fredbear's Springlock suit, which caused the Springlocks to interact with water and moisture, causing Fredbear to spring into its usual position, which intended Fredbear's mouth being shut. So Fredbear's mouth is shut with Evan inside of it, causing Fredbear to break Evan's skull and cause fatal damage to his head. Fredbear essentially bit down onto him in the span of a second. Michael and his friends watched as blood dripped from the suit. William instantly heard about what happened and rushed to the diner. It was panic, a mad scramble to save Evan from death. The ambulance, police, anything you could think of, all rushed to the diner, and Evan was sent to hospital immediately. William had no time to blame Michael nor himself. They went to the hospital and watched as Evan was in a coma. Throughout Evan's coma, he had one repeating, seemingly endless nightmare. It was like the nights he had just been going through this past week. He started at his bed and tried to survive being hunted by nightmarish animatronics. This was different. Everywhere the usual animatronics would be was something he had never seen before, something he feared the most, and something he was changed by forever. It was a nightmarish version of Fredbear. After a long day of waiting, William brings in the Fredbear plush he used to monitor Evan, and after resting the plush next to him, William is given the news that Evan will be dead shortly. William holds Evan's hands, the same way the Fredbear plush was in his other. Within Evan's coma, the clock rung 6 a.m. He shut his eyes and reopened them to see the plush Fredbear, who was like his closest friend, and the 4 plush animatronics behind it. In the real world, Michael said his goodbyes first. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry. Michael left William to be alone with Evan. William said his final words to Evan, saying, "You're broken. We are still your friends. Do you still believe that? I'm still here. I will put you back together." And William cried while holding Evan in the Fredbear plush. Within Evan's coma, he watched the Fredbear plush disappear in front of him and cried for one more time before shutting his eyes. William got up and walked out of the room, hearing the sound of Evan's own heartbeat flatline. Fredbear's family diner closes instantly. The police still suspect William for the missing children's incident, which causes Henry to consider cutting ties with William while continuing the Fazbear brand. William has lost 2 of his children to his own creations, causing his wife to become emotionally unstable, leaving him. And with all of this, William begins his descent into madness.
So many days is yet to come. So many times has come to pass. So many moments put aside. Getting out alive. Getting out alive.
Wait, so we just beat up the
Despite the name,
Fredbear
hurricanes are not the
till he
leading cause
turned
of death
into
of the children of
Golden
Hurricane Utah.
Freddy?
This small remote city surrounded by mountains has an ongoing mystery with a twisted, dark story that's continuing to be unraveled. What really happened at Fredbear's? Where did all those children really go? Most importantly, what's next for Fazbear's Entertainment? Henry and Emily thought for days, weeks, months. How can the business possibly come back from this? How can he fix all those issues and bring people in again? There were so many problems with the previous location. To name a few, the Springlock suits failed massively, killing William's child and being an extremely dangerous idea to begin with. The work-in-progress animatronics from Fredbear's need more time, as now Henry would be completely taking over their construction. William Afton is still a major suspect of the missing children's incident. Henry would not be so quick to work with him again, so he would have to solo it. The fact that the incident even happened in the first place was bad enough. They needed more security. Henry thought and came up with one easy, seemingly simple solution. Remove the problems that distort the Fredbear name. Instead of doing it solo, Henry needed to take Fazbear Entertainment to the next level in business by creating a team. A team of hard-working managers, night shift workers, chefs, accountants, executives, and so much more. He would be able to fund this team with the profits made off of Fredbear's family diner. This new team had their first meeting and discussed what to do with the animatronics. And together, they eventually decided to move the previous animatronics, such as the work-in-progress bear, bunny, chicken, and fox, into Parsons Services, a new room in the new location. The company began working on new toy animatronics, which they decided would be plastic-looking animatronics, which weren't Springlock suits, but a normal suit with an endoskeleton inside, with fully functional fingers, wedge-shaped feet, eyelashes,
But
facial appearance.
look at his face. Looks like this man got dimples. Sorry. But it literally
is reminiscent of a ventriloquist doll. They also wanted to include some new, unique, different animatronics to the brand, which they eventually created. A smaller, childlike animatronic, which the children could relate to. Unlike the animatronics, this is more human-looking. This animatronic held a sign in one hand, saying exactly what was being held in the other. This animatronic was called Balloon Boy. Now only 2 problems remain. William and security, which Henry vowed to solve on his own, as in his mind, only he could do it right. Upon thinking over several days while his company worked on this new location, which would be at Junior's to Fredbear's, he knew William could not be attached to the company anymore. Having a man thought to be the murderer of 5 children, co-owning the restaurant, no, even being in their team, would be the worst look for the children's entertainment company with their specific demographic. So, Henry would need to source some sort of security, some sort of way to allow everyone in, but keep William out. After several nights of coming up with different ideas, he eventually settled on one, a facial recognition system. If a human's eyes met with the toy animatronics, with the right designing and coding, they would be able to tell whether you were William or not. There was no doubt this wouldn't work, so Henry began making and then putting his idea into motion. Henry wanted nothing more than the safety of his customers. He wouldn't want to lose all those kids and watch all their lives be taken away. And unlike William, this brought a thought to his mind. He thought of his darling daughter Charlotte, or Charlie for short, and made sure that just in case the facial recognition failed, his daughter would be safe no matter. Henry loved showing Charlie his work and would love bringing her in the locations. But as soon as the missing children's incident occurred, he was always unsure of bringing her to the locations, or even just letting her anywhere near the creations. So, he created an animatronic that sat in a box, was held by strings like a marionette, and would specifically look out for Charlie, and protect her with security as its main priority. He called this animatronic the puppet.
Yo, I feel like there is a jump scare coming.
Frustration, agony, instability. These emotions are what the psychotic monster that was William Afton himself felt. Elizabeth first, now Evan. His wife became unstable, but what about him? The night of Evan's death, William went back to the now closed Fredbear's. He looked coldly at the animatronic that had murdered his son. William was filled with rage and wanted nothing more than to see Fredbear fall, so he grabbed whatever he could and began demolishing Fredbear. Ever so slightly, with each hit, the life was being drained out of the Springbok suit's eyes until it was a pile of animatronic dump in the same state as the work-in-progress animatronics. Destroyed or not, the damage Fredbear caused had already been done. The damage Michael caused. William blamed Michael for taking it too far, for causing Evan to cry inside the suit's mouth, causing Fredbear to kill him. Hatred filled William's veins. Hatred towards Michael that went so far that William wished it were him who got killed by Fredbear. After the longest weeks of William's life, he heard news of a new location run by Fazbear's Entertainment opening, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Upon learning the news, his adrenaline spiked. William thought he paid for what he did to those kids with the loss of 2 of his own, so maybe now he would have some luck. This was his chance at a comeback, a possible distraction from everything, an escape from the pain and a glimpse into the light. William drove to this new location, Henry waiting his arrival at the front door. William got out of his car and headed towards his new opportunity.
Come on, you know he can't be here. Don't make this more difficult than it has to be.
William's excitement turned into shock, his stomach screaming thanks to what felt like a gunshot.
Henry, we're the co-owners of this franchise.
William says in confusion.
Where?
William mutters.
Are you kidding me? After everything.
You mean after everything you caused, which you're responsible for, including killing those innocent kids?
William opened his mouth to deny.
Don't even. We can all see the truth in between the lines, William.
Henry, I need this. After all that's happened to me, I've suffered long enough.
You're not the victim here, William. I started this shit from scratch, with my bare fucking hands. And I'm not risking you tearing all that hard work down and hurting more innocent people.
William expresses to Henry that
Business will fail without me. I need to come back.
and without hesitation, Henry sends William away once more.
Please. Just please leave the premises, old friend.
And with a misleading grin on his face, William complies. He gets into his car and drives away slowly. Henry won the argument and stands with joy as he finally sees relief that he's gotten the final problem out of the way and can now begin to move forward.
Nope.
William raced dangerously down the streets, fueled with rage. He thought for the entire drive home what to do next, until suddenly he got that feeling he felt ages ago, that strange, unnerving urge to kill, and within seconds William thought of the perfect target. Charlotte Emily was the daughter of Henry, and who William wanted to get rid of. The words echoed in his head.
Everything you caused, which you're responsible for.
But now his daughter would die because of him. Frustration, agony, instability, all what Henry deserved to feel in William's mind. But unlike Fredbear's, this would be extremely difficult to kill anyone, as there's an entire new security system in place against William specifically, and to make it harder, specifically to protect his daughter, the puppet would be out of its box, keeping Charlie safe before William even got close to the door. William thought overnight, planning what he would do and how to avoid this issue with the puppet, which is when a realization popped into his head. The puppet is dependent on the box being open, so what if the box was closed shut, essentially trapping the puppet inside? William played the situation out in his head over and over. If Charlie leaves the pizzeria while the puppet is trapped inside, then who would be there to see him grabbing her and murdering her in cold blood? No one. This was when he crafted his plan, and the next day put it in motion. One night, a group of bullies trapped the security puppet in its box, and coincidentally, Charlie was stuck outside Freddy's. Preparation met its opportunity as Charlie tried to run away to find a way to escape, until a car pulled beside the alley and a man got out of it. Charlie ran to William as she knew who he was after the many times Henry and William met with her there. Charlie grinned until William pulled something from behind his back. William killed Charlie in the alleyway outside of Freddy's. Her body lay numb in the rain. He thought to dispose of the body and get rid of any evidence, but it was hailing down with the rain. The fingerprints would be cleared off, so he felt no need. So he walks away and gets into his car, driving off happier than ever. The revenge was bittersweet. Now Henry would finally pay for pushing William away and making his life even more of a hassle. The puppet knocked its box wide open and knew where Charlie had gotten to, its only mission being to protect her and bring her back inside. It went outside and tried to get to her, but kept breaking down due to the heavy rain. It found Charlie, and upon seeing its mission was a failure, it rested by her and wouldn't move. Henry couldn't find her. Neither could the police. This was all too familiar, another missing child. Henry went to look for the puppet, her protector, and found its box pushed wide open. He then went outside and found its body lying dead on the ground. It was damaged and there was something next to it, which Henry immediately knew who it was. Henry wasn't stupid. He knew it was William who did this. Nights after he was pushed away, Henry was enraged and began thinking whether the business should close or not, but no, he would be proving William right if he did that. So instead, Henry goes on a well-deserved break and lets his team continue working on the location in his absence. This was becoming interesting for William. How many more times could he kill and get away with it? He had his eyes set on Freddy's and decided to do a rerun of his biggest killing spree, causing another missing children's incident to occur. He knew all the old suits were being transferred into this new location, so he knew exactly how to enter without setting off the animatronics. The spring bunny suit. He found it in the parts and services room and put it on, and one night William roamed the building in the suit, killing another 5 kids.
Wait, ain't they getting possessed?
The puppet.
I didn't know there were jump scares. Ew. It's terrifying.
The original children killed by William back in Fredbear's were back, now possessing the work-in-progress animatronic that they were originally stuffed in, their spirits being able to stay there as long as they did thanks to their corpses attaching to the endoskeleton. Evan himself, William's child, was given a second chance in Fredbear, which William had put his body into not long ago, trying to put him back together and make his body fuse with the animatronics. Now, with the help of the reanimated animatronics, the puppet gives the recently killed children a second chance, but this time within the toy animatronics and Balloon Boy.